sports podcast with the youngest, most daring, intrepid, gutsy, fearless host on the planet. Get ready for Jake's Takes. Here's Jake.
Welcome back. I am Jake, and this is Jake's Takes, where I get your favorite athletes and stars to open up and speak what's really on their minds. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because you won't believe the guests I have lined up. Today's guest was selected in the first round of the 2001 NHL Draft, 17th overall by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Prior to making the NHL, he was an elite prospect on the blue line and anchored Team Canada's blue line at the World Junior Championship for 3 straight years, and ended up representing Canada 5 times over his career. After playing for the Leafs, he also played for the St. Louis Blues, the Detroit Red Wings, the Philadelphia Flyers, and Buffalo Sabres. He played 14 years in the NHL. Currently, he hosts First Up on TSN, the best sports morning show, together with his partner, the awesome and fabulous Michael Landsberg. Give it up for the one and only Carlo Colaiacovo. This feels a little different, Carlo. I mean, like...
Is this where the round of applause comes in? Where the background noise is supposed to be giving me a round of applause? That was an incredible introduction, buddy.
Thank you. I mean, like, this is so sick. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited for the playoffs. I'm excited that the Maple Leafs have a really good team and have a really good chance to go deep into the playoffs. And, I'm excited to be doing this with you tonight.
Talking about the playoffs, we're going to get into that soon. But first, how's your family?
Family's doing good, man. I appreciate you asking. It's been a grind living in Ontario, going through all the different lockdowns that we've had to face. But, homeschooling has been a challenge, as you probably know, with my daughter and my son. But, just trying to make up for valuable time that I probably wouldn't normally have in normal times with my family. It's been fun. The weather's nicer now, so hopefully we get to do a little bit more outside with them. But grinding away, buddy, grinding away.
And how's your other family? Buffalo Bills Mafia.
Well, exciting news about the Bills Mafia. Their schedule was just released the other day. From a Bills fan, for over 25 years, there hasn't been much to really celebrate. But this year was a coming out party for myself and for all Bills fans, because they were an amazing team to watch. They've built and they've created a lot of excitement around the season next year. And, I'm counting down the months, man. September can't come closer for the Bills to start their season. 17 games this year. I hope to get to a game this year because, we couldn't go to the games last year. But pumped for Josh Allen, pumped for the Bills, and pumped for Bills Mafia, man. I want to party with them.
Okay, enough about football. It's time to talk about the Leafs, as the playoffs are just around the corner. The Leafs, as we all know, won their first division title since 2000. But now come the playoffs, Carlo. What's your expectations for this Leafs team? Are they going to finally win a round?
Well, my expectations are high for this team, as they should be. There's no doubt that they can't win a round this year. I mean, to think about where this team has come in the last couple of years with this core group, they faced a lot of disappointment. And in hockey and in sports, sometimes you got to learn how to lose before you can win. And I think this team has learned its fair share of losing and in heartbreaking ways. But I can't think of a team that I've been this excited about over the last 2 decades when it comes to the Maple Leafs, because top to bottom, they are probably the most balanced they've ever been. And they're led by a superstar in Austin Matthews. And they've got another sidekick on his wing, Mitch Marner, who nobody gives enough credit to, that is putting himself in superstar category with the year that he's having. So, they're playing the Montreal Canadiens, which is, again, brings a lot of excitement within both fan bases. it's crazy to think that we've waited 42 years for this rivalry to be renewed in the playoffs. But the unfortunate part is fans won't get to be there to celebrate it. But ultimately, you look at the situation that's in front of this Maple Leafs team, the division they've played in all year, the teams that they've played in, they are hands down the best team coming out of this division, and there's no way they can't win a round or 2 or 3 or even 4 if they find the success that they want in round 1 and they play the way that they've been playing all year. I think the best thing that this team can be proud of is that they've shown a consistency to them that hasn't been there in the last couple of years. So that is definitely something that excites a lot of Maple Leaf fans in the next week or two.
Carlo, you played for this crazy hockey market. The pressure and focus on this team is just off the charts. Tell me what it's like when you're playing for this team, and especially now when the Leafs have gone like all in. Like, what's the pressure like in the dressing room heading into these playoffs?
You know, pressure is a funny word because pressure, you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you're worried about failure. And I think for this Maple Leafs team, the thing that they've sort of embraced the most in this whole season is the ability to have fun and the ability to be great. And so when I look at this team, you know, the thing that I wouldn't say the worry about, the thing that can't be the focus is failure, because they've dealt with adversity in a positive way throughout the whole season. You know, they've had their losing streaks, they've had their slumps, but good teams find a way to prevail from that. And that's what the Maple Leafs have done for the most part. You know, when you have older guys around like Joe Thornton and Jason Spezza and Zach Bogosian, who just won a Stanley Cup last year, and even, you know, Wayne Simmons to that mix, you combine that with the core group of guys that have been here that have tasted a little bit of that regular season success, but not that playoff success yet. The last thing you should do is put more pressure on yourself to fail. You shouldn't be embracing these moments, because as an athlete, this is the time of year that you spend your whole summer, your whole season preparing for. It's about playing on this stage, you know, accepting the challenge to be great, and wanting to do it not just for yourself, but for the teammates, the organization, and more importantly, the fan base that has stuck by you through these tough times and you know, difficult times over the last, you would say, 17 years now since they won their last playoff series. So as a player, you know, playing in this city, playing in this market, yeah, there's added pressures, but that's changed so much even from the time that, you know, I played for the Maple Leafs, where now, you know, people embrace these guys as role models. And, you know, I think the players understand that too. And, you know, the fan base wants them to succeed. And obviously there's pressures that come with that, because you're under the spotlight of playing for the best, you know, I would say the best, one of the greatest known organizations in the world. And you're playing in a hockey-starved market like Toronto. So, you know, you're under the microscope 24/7, probably more than any other team in the league. So there's going to be those times when you deal with those pressures, but it's going to be, you know, the instances and the situations that guys learn from in their past mistakes, and especially with the older guys that have been through it over and over again, to help everybody get through it as a team and help everybody get through adversity at the same time. And hopefully this is, you know, a challenge that they're willing to accept, because they have the ability to have some great success if they really believe in it.
Carlo, how do you evaluate TJ Brodie's first season in Toronto? The Leafs didn't go after Pietrangelo, probably because of cap issues, and instead went after Brodie. I'm not sure if you saw what Sheldon Keefe said about this team's overall defense. He said, quote, "We knew we had to get better defensively this season. We were pretty close to the bottom of the league in 5-on-5 goals against. And this year we're in the top 5. Carlo, how much of a role did Brodie contribute to this?"
You know, I think he played a significant role in contributing to this, because, you know, I'll be the first one to admit I wasn't a big fan of the signing when they first made it. You know, obviously I'm a really close friend of Alex Pietrangelo and was hoping that was the route that they were going to go. And yeah, I think a lot of people are too. But obviously for other reasons, the Maple Leafs decided that maybe that wasn't the path to go down. You saw the contract that he got. And, you know, you got to give the Maple Leafs management staff credit for identifying a guy like Brodie that has been able to come in and create sort of a calming, a calming influence with this group, where he's a veteran guy. He's played with a star player most of his, you know, good career years in Calgary. And, he's been in a market that has sort of represented what Toronto represents. And I think the reason why TJ Brodie has played so well is because nothing he does really stands out. And as a defenseman, sometimes being quiet and just doing the simple things or doing the things that you're supposed to do really, really well helps everybody around you appreciate what you do, and it helps everybody around you play better because of it. And I think, the Maple Leafs have tried to find this ideal, safe partner that can play for Morgan Rielly, who is the team's number one defenseman, but a guy that can make Morgan Rielly comfortable to play, to his strengths, which is his offense. And I think what TJ Brodie does is he creates that sort of calming feeling, knowing that Morgan Rielly can play with a little bit of risk, and let him understand that whatever position he finds himself in on the ice, he's going to be there to recover from him. But the most important factor, and I give Sheldon Keefe a lot of credit for this, and even, Kyle Dubas can receive some as well. Last year, there was a lot of question marks about, the new players coming in and the roles that they were going to play. Everybody thought that Tyson Barrie was going to come in. They acquired him by giving up, Nazem Kadri, who was, a player that, even in the city really, really admired. And they brought in Tyson Barrie to sort of fill in that top right-handed defenseman role. And Mike Babcock didn't play him like that. So once you have a lot of guys on your team or on your blue line in particular, because this is what we're discussing right now, questioning their roles and questioning their responsibilities, it creates an uneasy feeling as a group of defense on the back end. And right from the beginning, Sheldon Keefe and Kyle Dubas, addressed TJ Brodie and said, he's the guy coming in to play with Morgan Rielly. So you knew where he was going to sit because everybody anticipated that where he was going to be. Then you allowed Jake Muzzin and Justin Hall to establish themselves as the second pair on defense. Then you allowed Travis Dermott and Zach Bogosian to establish themselves as the third pairing defense. When players, and I'm speaking on just on behalf of defense because I play defense. When I knew what my role was and what my responsibility was, I didn't have to worry about anything else that I had no factor in the decision making. So I would just have to go out, understand my teammate who I'm playing with, and understand the role that I'm being asked to play, and play to the best of your abilities. And for the most part, right from the start of the season, the Maple Leafs have had everybody labeled in their position on defense, and everybody playing to a style of play that has allowed this team to have great success. A lot of it has been, great communication, great positioning, great overall team defense, where it's not just the defense playing well, the forwards understanding that in the zone, they have to read and react off each other. And I think that's why you've seen this team have the success, like you mentioned, the quote that Sheldon Keefe said about them understanding they need to be better. Well, everybody knows that they need to be better because the guys coming in knew what they had to do to be better. And I think because you have that, it has allowed TJ Brodie to stand out in the position that we've labeled him right now as a great signing, a great addition, and a great fit for this team because he's been there and stayed there all year while everybody else has played their role better than expected.
Okay, Carlo, I know you're excited because on Jake's Takes, it's game time. And we're playing rapid fire. I'll ask you a bunch of short questions, and you answer them as quick as you can. Deal?
Bang! Let's go, buddy.
Name one thing everybody hates.
Name one thing everybody hates. Traffic.
Matt Barzal or Claude Giroux?
Matt Barzal.
Who's in better shape, Dave Poulin or the O-Dog Jeff O'Neill?
This is a slam dunk home run answer. It is Dave Poulin.
Will the Bills win a playoff game this year?
100% yes. They might even win the Super Bowl.
Michael Hutchinson or Michael Tellqvist?
Michael Tellqvist, because I played with him many years, and especially in the minors, and he was able to carry that number one role.
Favorite teammate in the NHL?
Favorite teammate? See, this is a tough one because I played with so many good ones.
You gonna go back to back with Tellqvist?
No, not him. I'm going to say Cam Jansen.
Where is the worst place to get stuck?
Like in a city or anything?
Anything. Anywhere.
In a lake.
Who do your family cheer for the most? You or your twin brother, Paul?
You're putting me on the spot here. I hope he doesn't listen to this, but I can't give an answer either way. I think I'm going to say respectfully that my parents cheered for us equally.
Loser's answer.
I deserve that.
How upset does your wife get if you accidentally wake her up preparing for your morning show?
Percentage-wise?
Percentage-wise.
I would say 65%.
We have a winner! Carlo! You killed it, baby! Wow, that was impressive! How do you think you did in comparison to Michael?
Well, I think I did a lot better than Michael. Like, are you asking me because you had selected the answers and you wanted me to pick the right ones that you chose?
Maybe. You'll never know.
All right. I will say that I was 9 out of 10.
Well, the truth is, you both nailed that rapid fire. You guys must be soulmates.
That's why we're partners.
So, Carlo, we're almost done. Just 2 more questions. That good?
Yeah, of course, buddy. I got nothing but time for you.
We've already seen some NHL clubs and coaches part ways in the last week. Most notably, the always entertaining John Tortorella. Is there still a place for him as a head coach in this league? You think maybe an underachieving team like Buffalo would bring in John's tough style? Or now that the Rangers let Quinn go, is there going to be a Torts reunion in the Big Apple?
You present 2 really good scenarios, but you also stated too that his demand on turning a franchise around. I don't think John Tortorella starts the season as a head coach in one of these new places. I envision John Tortorella being a guy that comes in mid-season to a struggling team that is not meeting expectations and gives them the necessary push that they need. Because, listen, I've talked to many people that have played for John Tortorella. I've never played for him, but I've obviously seen, him as a coach. There's people that love him and there's people that don't like him. I thought he did a masterful job in Columbus with the situation he was dealing with over there, where it's not an ideal destination for free agents to go to. I think he put that franchise in an incredible spot. Obviously, this year they've dealt with their challenges, but I do think he coaches again. But that, like you mentioned too, that style of coaching is hard to. It's hard to get people to buy into, especially when you're speaking of a younger generation that players or people in organizations rely upon a lot when it comes to having success. So, do I think he coaches? Yeah, I think he coaches, but just not right away.
Shifting focus out west. What's the plan in Calgary? What did they do this year? Nothing. Why? Beats me. Under 500, that's just like nowhere near where I expected them. But they have some tough decisions to make now. Giordano's a year older. Do they move on from Johnny Hockey? What do you make of the Flame season and what lies ahead?
Well, to be honest with you, Jake, the season Calgary had was the season I expected them to have.
Wow.
Because clearly this is a team that has had a lot of question marks about their core and their core not performing up to standards. And when you cycle 3 coaches in 2 years, but you still have the same core and you're still having the same results, well, clearly coaching's not the problem. And obviously Daryl Sutter was brought in to help change that and to help fix that. But, sometimes you just got to look within your roster. I know in this day and age with a flat salary cap, it's hard to make big changes to your roster. But I think Calgary definitely has to evaluate some of the future of their core guys there, because clearly the responsibility that they've given them, they have not been able to live up to. And it sucks for guys like Mark Giordano, who 30 other teams in the league would love to have. But something's wrong with this forward group that has not allowed themselves to meet the expectations that's demanded for a group like that. I mean, goaltending, they did fix that problem by bringing in Markstrom. He's not the issue there. So something has to be done to send a message to that core group, whether it's change a few of them, change a couple of them, or even just have a full off season where they weren't able to. Something they weren't able to have this year with all those restrictions that were put in place. So I have a lot of questions to answer. It's disappointing with the season that they had, but clearly there's got to be more of a dissection of that group in the offseason and figure out what the real problem is.
Carlo, thanks a ton for joining me. I know it's impossible to be a better partner than Michael, but that was pretty close, no?
You were better, buddy. You were better.
Wow. Listen,
you nailed it, man.
I'm gonna figure out a way to call back in to Wake Up Woodbridge, so I get the honor of speaking to you more often. Go Leafs!
I can't wait for that, man. Make sure you tell your dad that I gave you permission to do so, okay?
Okay, go Leafs go.